A special presentation from the KTVB Newsroom. Bronco Roundup Game Day starts now.
Welcome to the Mountain West Championship game.
A really exciting matchup. Two of the premier programs, UNLV and Boise State. One of these teams lives in this championship game. UNLV has never won. Boise State and UNLV for the Mountain West title. Here we go from the blue turf.
Touchdown, Boise State. It's the Trail Capels.
Green to the outside. Diving for the end zone. Touchdown.
For the fifth time in 25 months, Boise State and UNLV will go toe-to-toe. And for the third consecutive year, this matchup will decide the Mountain West champions. Welcome to Bronco Roundup pregame show. I'm Jordan Smith alongside Austin Parr. What a matchup. What a night on the blue we have ahead of us.
Unbelievable matchup. Like you said, third time in a row. Boise State trying to win their sixth Mountain West championship. I mean, you think about that number, just that specific number, 6 Mountain West championship since they've been in this conference. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But if you don't know how they got there, we'll kind of explain it for you. It was a bit confusing. Boise State, despite back-to-back losses by San Diego State and Fresno State, they still make the Mountain West championship game, and it was the computers that had the final say.
Yeah, basically it's an aggregate. Because there was a four-way tie atop the Mountain West, computers took the averages of their strength of schedule and some things like that we won't break down. But basically, they determined that UNLV and Boise State had the top two scores. You can see on this graphic here. That's what determined these two to be in the championship game. And if you're wondering how Boise State is hosting with 4 losses on the season, well, they have the head-to-head tiebreaker over UNLV. And I think that schools like San Diego State and New Mexico are saying, hey, what the heck? It feels like we deserved a shot at this. But unfortunately, the computers, the aggregate, decided otherwise.
You could think those non-conference football games for Boise State. You're talking about the one at the beginning of the year against Notre Dame. After Notre Dame played BSU, they absolutely throttled every single one of their opponents, which helps Boise State because they played a pretty decent football game against them and didn't lose by a margin of all these other, like how large all these other teams did. So strength of schedule really does matter. And hey, nothing else matters now. We're here. It's championship time.
It's championship time, and it's time for Maddox Madsen to return under center. Spencer Danielson announced that number 4 will be good to go for Boise State, despite what Max Cutforth was able to do really to secure the Broncos spot in the Mountain West Championship game. They're going with number 4.
Yeah, number 4, they said it from the jump. As soon as Maddox is healthy, he will be the starter simply because he has the experience. He's been here before. He was here last year. He's the one that led them to the Mountain West Championship and in the Mountain West Championship last season. Maddox gets the start. He is back healthy, and it's unfortunate that his first start does come in this weather.
It is inclement weather to say the least, but Boise State's built with an incredible run game. On your screen, you can see the moment Maddox went down. For the first time since his injury, Maddox met with the media this week wearing a smile and a custom insole for his right leg. And Madsen says he feels great, and he's slated to make his first start in more than 4 weeks. But when he went down against Fresno State, he said there was a point he feared his season might be over. So he's grateful to be able to lead the team out tonight.
It was just brutal, like having to get hauled to ISMI to do an x-ray and those things. It was just, I would never wish that upon my worst enemy. But I was actually extremely worried my season was over too, because some of the conversations before imaging were like, hey, this might be a season ending, and I was just kind of distraught. And then obviously when I heard that there was a little bit of a chance, that was all I needed to hear, and grind in the training room and obviously in this position now.
So it is great to see that Maddox is healthy enough to get the start here tonight. It was scary when he went down, but he's back under center. He's yet to lose to UNLV in his career as a quarterback for Boise State, but he did tell us it's super hard to beat a team twice in the same season.
Especially when they have the offensive MVP in Anthony Calandria. It is going to be a tall task for Boise State to get the job done, especially with Maddox under center. The defense is going to be the key to watch, though, because Anthony Calandria, Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, he's been phenomenal since the last time these two played on this very field.
Well, both these quarterbacks are going to be slinging the rock in less than ideal conditions. These fans, they've got a couple of them have the ponchos on. We've seen some without shirts altogether. They're just embracing this December rain here in Boise. This is gross weather, man.
Gross weather, but it doesn't matter. The faithful always show up. There's a couple of students right here, right next to us, that have paint on their stomachs, and they are fired up, ready to go for this one. Rain or shine, it doesn't matter. Bronco Nation shows up. Some of the best fans in all of college football.
So the big question is this weather going to let up come kickoff? Well, we brought in our weather expert. Adrielle is joining us in studio where it's much drier. What can we expect to see as we get closer to kickoff?
Yeah, thanks, Jordan and Austin. Those fans are definitely troopers out there because it is a first alert weather day, first alert weather conditions. We have a active weather event. Right now, 42 degrees. Temperature is not something we're concerned about, but as you can see, looking at this camera, which isn't very clear because of all the rain on the camera, on the roads out there, it is a damp evening. We're hoping that it will let up in a little bit, but we're looking at Boise very up closely here on satellite and radar. The green is showing the rain. Darker green is heavier rain. Yellow, the heaviest pockets of rain right there. They're moving through relatively quickly, but Albertson Stadium right about here, right to the right side of this little Boise symbol, it is continuing to hit Albertson Stadium, and it will do so for a little longer this evening. Right now, rain rates are ranging all over the place. I've seen as much as 1/3 of an inch of rain falling per hour. Now, the good news is, as far as we can see, it looks like by the end of the game, it looks to be cut off there a little bit by our countdown, but I'll let you know that by the end of the game, the rain should be dying down. So we'll be there for kickoff. We're looking at the widespread showers continuing for probably a couple more hours. Hopefully by 7 p.m., 8 p.m. tonight, things really start quieting down. The weather will shift further to the south and east of Boise. So Twin Falls, south central Idaho will get hit a little bit heavier with the precipitation in a few hours from now. Boise State fans just need to make it through a little bit more rain. Hopefully they can hunker down, hide under those ponchos because we have some more rain that's coming, and it's not going to let up for at least a couple more hours. But drier skies are on the way later this evening, hopefully for celebration.
Well, listen, I mean, this is nothing new to Boise fans, Boise State at all. And, you know, I got to say, if it's going to rain, they're probably going to lean on running the football, and that's a defense's dream, especially those hard hitters like Ty Benefield.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Ty Benefield, he just had some of the biggest praise and honor for this secondary, and especially number 0, who has been leading this defense. A first-team honor, first-team All-Mountain West honor for Ty Benefield, as well as 2 of the back corners. Omarion McCoy, we talked about him all year long, too. He's obviously gone with injury, but he gets honored as well. And then Jeremiah Irby on the backside of those honors. Unbelievable stuff, considering this secondary was the question of this defense back in September, and they've bolstered it up to be one of the best that is now playing for a Mountain West championship.
Yeah, it seemed like they were getting picked apart at the start of the season. Everyone's saying, oh, great, we can't defend against the pass. And they hit this turning point around Notre Dame, and it just seemed like they have been red hot ever since. And you mentioned Omarion McCoy going down, and then they have a guy like Sherrod Smith step up into his shoes and make some big-time plays against Utah State.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the one hit that he had was phenomenal. I mean, they're going to put that in videos and show everyone how to tackle with that specific hit at Utah State. But yes, no Omarion McCoy. It's basically been next man up, and everybody has continued to step up for Boise State, especially on this defense. A couple of other Broncos got some awards as well. Cage Casey, Mason Randolph on the first team for the offensive line. Dylan Riley, Braxton Feely, Jaden Virgin Morgan on the second team. And then Oscar Doyle, Matt Lauder, honorable mentions as well. So 8 total Broncos receiving Mountain West honors phenomenal stuff considering where we were in September.
Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to this defense, what they've been able to withstand, especially against some tough Mountain West opponents this year. This isn't like the Mountain West in years past. It feels like everybody brought their A game to the conference this year, especially some unexpected names in New Mexico. San Diego State was super tough to defend against. These guys have brought it all season.
They've brought it all season long. The opponents have not been easy. It's a different and evolving conference. Obviously, we have conference realignment going on next year. But what Jason Eck did with New Mexico this season has been nothing short of sensational. They did not lose a game at home.
Undefeated
Boise State
at home.
beat them here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been incredible what Boise State has been able to do. All the injuries, all the roller coasters of emotion, all of the ups and downs, peaks and valleys, they've somehow gotten through all of it, and they're playing for a potential third Mountain West championship, something that's never been done in the conference.
Looking to go for history on their way out the door from the Mountain West. Well, hey, we've got all this information and much more in our game day guide, brought to you by, of course, the beloved Carson Cloud. This game day guide, if you text BSU to 321-5614, you get all the information when it comes to player profiles, in-depth analysis, records in particular uniforms, pretty much everything you could ever want to know about Boise State during game week.
How to watch, where to find us, where to find the post-game show. Anything and everything you need is in that championship game day guide.
All right, well, hey, stay with us here. We've got a lot of live interviews still ahead of us here. We've got Jeremiah Dickey stopping by the show, and you might remember the name RG3. He's here tonight. That's going to be pretty awesome coming up. Just a few. Welcome back to Albertson Stadium. We're just over 85 minutes away from kickoff between Boise State and UNLV. And this season here in 2025, it's drawn a lot of comparisons to 2023 with what the Broncos went through and a lot of adversity. They lost a couple of games early on, and it felt like the season was getting out of control quick.
It really did. I mean, they needed a miracle from Fresno State, the exact same thing that happened back in 2023. They get it. They take care of business, win the rest of their games, and the computers put them in the championship game.
And today's Bronco Rewind will take you back to 2023 to show you their climb to the peak of the mountain.
Bronco Roundup Rewind, sponsored by your local Toyota dealers.
In a season littered with losses to Washington, UCF, Memphis, and a pair of conference losses, Boise State found themselves sitting in a unique position with a 4-5 record headed into the final stretch of the season. Forget a conference championship game. Could these guys even make a bowl game? Their streak of 25 consecutive winning seasons was at stake. After getting back on track against New Mexico, the Blue and Orange faithful endured another round of turbulence.
My goal always, when making tough decisions, is for my head, my heart, and my gut to align. And once that took place, I felt it was the right decision at that point in time.
Avalos was out, Danielson was in.
I'm very excited for the opportunity because I love these kids. It's not about me, it's about them. That's our focus. Finish 2 weeks, and then let's look up and see where we're at.
Prior to their win over the Lobos, Boise State was given just a 3.1% chance of winning the Mountain West. That's according to ESPN's Football Power Index. After Boise State took care of business against Utah State and Air Force, along with massive upset losses by both Air Force and Fresno State, their chances soared to 41.7%. In the final week of the season, Boise State just needed UNLV to beat the Spartans to clinch a spot in the championship. But of course, the Spartans would have other plans. San Jose State would knock off UNLV 37-31, meaning there was now a three-way tie for first place in the Mountain West, and it would be up to the computers to decide the championship game. As fate would have it, the aggregate favored the Broncos and the Rebels. Boise State, reborn in the final 4 weeks of the season, throttled UNLV 44-20 to win their fourth conference championship game. And it was just a miraculous 2023 season. Again, when you're sitting at 4-5 going into week 10 of the college football season, I don't think conference championship is on anybody's mind. It's like, can we just make it to the end of the season, right? But to win and to hoist that championship, it says a lot about the grit of those players and the quality of recruits that they were able to bring into this program.
Well, it's the same thing this year. When Maddox went down against Fresno State, they had 2 weeks to prepare against San Diego State. We all know what happened in that football game in wet, soggy San Diego. And after that football game, nobody thought conference championship was on the end of all these bad feelings, right? I said it, hand up. I thought the season was over. And yet here we are. They continue to believe, they continue to grind, and they continue to have that grit that you were talking about to make it here, championship on the blue, one final game here.
Yeah, and again, the character of the players, we can't speak highly enough about them. That's exactly what Coach Danielson recruits for. He says, we need players who love football and are willing to fight. And he's, what does he always say? Everything you want in life is on the other side of hard. That's his favorite quote, it seems like, late in this year. And he's found a couple of recruits for the 2026 class that seem to match that criteria.
The 2026 class has fastly become the best recruiting class this university has ever seen. They have cracked the top 50 in recruits, and we got the opportunity to sit down with a future Bronco quarterback. And fun fact, he went to my high school. Take a listen.
Meet the future of the Broncos quarterback room, 6'1" Jackson Taylor from Thousand Oaks High School. Taylor is touted as one of the top quarterbacks the school has seen in many years. And the Southern California product has been sold on Boise State since day one.
We sat with the coaches and they constantly talked about how, everything is earned. They're very process driven, and that everything they do to the best of their ability, and they do it, they have this blue collar mindset that they talk about. We go in the weight room and we go watch practice, and you see how every single one of the players is completely bought into that.
Boise State and head coach Spencer Danielson stand by a motto: nothing is given, everything is earned. The premise that essentially eliminates entitlement and breeds the blue-collar mentality that the city thrives on. Jackson echoes this sentiment, one of the many reasons why Taylor is a great fit for this program.
You're getting someone who says what they means what they say, and and be there to be the best version of myself. And like we talked about, how Boise's everything about, earning what you're given. Like, I 100% agree. And that's part of the reason I committed, is because I think we need more of that. But I'm all into this, this idea of earning everything that's produced.
Taylor gives a lot of credit to his mom and dad for who he is today. But his mindset may not have shaped the way it is without his half-siblings, a brother and a sister, many years older, many years wiser, helping mold Taylor into the best version of himself today.
My brother, who played really high level basketball in high school and then opted not to go in college, but he's the one who taught me everything about, discipline, because he lived it himself. And it's easy to be taught something from your parents, but then when you kind of get to see someone who you maybe relate with a little bit more, in terms of having your brother there, having that as an example for me growing up was that was huge. My sister now is basically she's 33, and she's kind of a mother figure to me. When my mom is her own version of it, my sister's her own version of it, and she cares for me just as much as my mom does, and looks out for me the same way.
Jackson took off in his senior season, posting a 70% completion percentage, over 2,400 yards, and 31 touchdowns in 11 games. The biggest difference? He found his why he plays football, and he fell in love with the preparation.
My completion percentage is 10% higher than it's ever been, and we're throwing for more yards and touchdowns, and you see how the results start to get put to the table once you really find a groove and find something that's thorough but also easy to replicate.
Taylor is officially committed to the best recruiting class this university has ever seen, and has an expectation to do big things on the blue. With the mindset he has at his young age, sky's the limit for BSU's future quarterback.
Hey, sky's the limit, but the future is now. We are joined by Jackson Taylor in the flesh, Mountain West Championship game here on the blue. How's your experience been so far? And it's raining. It's not the greatest of conditions, but what are you looking forward to for this one?
It's been amazing. Being here with my dad, this is the last chance we have to kind of just go and be fans, enjoy the time together and the experience, because you only get so many of those, and I think it's really important to have those. So it's been a great time. Obviously getting used to this weather, a little bit spoiled in SoCal, but you know, you're going to be here for four years. You got to get used to it. So it was a nice little opportunity to kind of combine the fact where we get one more chance to be a fan and enjoy this, but also, you know, step into the weather a little bit, get used to it, because being here in January is going to be cold.
Yeah. Hey, we heard a little bit of it in this story about you, but what was it that pushed you over the line to say, you know what, I want to spend the next 4 years in Boise?
I think there are a lot of factors. Even just on the official, the very first time he set foot here, was like, dude, like, this is, everything about this says home. Kind of a funny story I like to say is, like, when we landed that first time and we pulled into the airport, next to it we saw the Jackson Jet Center. So my initials are JET. So it was kind of cool to see that. I'm like, oh, you know, what's God telling me here? So it's been really cool. The coaching staff is amazing. You can tell how everything they do and everything they preach gets translated down to the rest of the staff, to the entire players. Everybody in that building is working toward the same goal, and part of that's being here right now and winning the Mountain West Championship. So when you see the genuineness there and the integrity, what's not to love about it?
I wanted to talk about a little bit more. I didn't get a chance to put it all in there, but your preparation, you said you really kind of found your why and also fell in love with that. A lot of that had to do with your quarterback coach who played in the CFL, and he said practice in high school like you're a college quarterback. So how did that work out this past offseason, and where did you really kind of see the growth when it comes to that?
I would say the biggest thing was, or the biggest time I saw it was this season, my senior season. My preparation was more thorough than it's been in past years, and I really started to adapt a process that works for me and that's consistent and that I'm used to now. And I saw the fruit of it in games. We were more efficient on offense. My completion percentage was significantly higher than it's been. So you see when the preparation is there, the results that follow, and it's pretty cool. Now you know that you're doing something that works. So that was huge. And yeah, we would always talk about, you know, play college football in high school, you know, and you're going to be successful. So now when you get here, now I want to play pro quarterback in college. So I want to do that to the best of my ability, and I know I'll be going in as a freshman. With a lot of work left to do, but I absolutely believe in the ability to do that.
Yeah. And Coach Danielson, he was telling us earlier in the week, he said, you know, I don't want to hide anything from these recruits. We bring them to the stadium stepper days so they can see the hard work that's ahead of them. That didn't scare you off at all?
No, but it definitely did tell me that, you know, in this off-season prep, maybe get a few stadium decks in, because they take those seriously, and that's a tough thing. So I want to be as ready for it as I can be, for sure.
This game, Mountain West Championship, a chance for a first-time ever team to win, or a school to win 3 straight Mountain West Championships. What's your prediction? We got to get a prediction out of you. We do this to everybody on the interviews. How does the game go, and give us a little score?
I'll give a score at the end, but what I love about this is Boise State football. I mean, look at this weather. Look at where we're at right now. We're on the blue. We protect the blue like we protect the skin on our backs. Like, we take this seriously. And this is championship football, and this is everything I believe Boise State's built for. So I think we were in a great situation with that. Great to have Maddox back. Max did a really good job getting us this position, honestly, in the last few games. And now Maddox is back in the helmet. I think he's going to do great things. So I'm excited. I believe, get a score prediction. It might be a little bit lower scoring with this weather. I'm going to say 27-21 Boise State.
27-21. I like it. Well, the Rangers let up as soon as you stepped in here, so maybe they sling the rock a little bit more. I don't know.
That would be nice. I know. I'd love to see it.
All right, hey, Jackson, thanks for being on the show. Great to meet you, and congratulations again.
Good luck. Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right, perfect. We got RG3 coming up on the show here after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Albertson Stadium, where we are under 90 minutes away from Boise State's potential 6th Mountain West Championship. We did promise RG3 coming out of the break. He got tied up a little bit, so we've got a special guest coming beforehand. But it starts with our main man, Blitz. Blitz announced that he was retiring this year, and then Boise State, they make the Mountain West Championship, and he says, all right, guys, I'm coming back.
2 words, he's back. That's very simple. One of the most famous dogs in all of Boise State, in the city of Boise, is Blitz. He comes from a long line of T-Dogs at Boise State and took over the reins from his dad, Cowboy Cole. Cowboy Cole passed away in 2021, leaving Blitz to take over the responsibility. However, the school announced before the last home game against Colorado State that Blitz would be retiring to spend more time with his family.
We wanted to make sure Blitz has, a few years to just hang out on the couch, get to spend time with his family, because I've been taking him a lot over the last 5 years, and he's got 2 kids at home who really love and adore him, and we want to keep him out while he's healthy.
Well, for Blitz's last ride, he's going to go up against somebody pretty special here today. We've got Buddy the Elf racing Blitz today.
That's right. I went through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest and through the land of swirly, twirly gumdrops and took a really long walk on I-80, and I'm here and ready for the game.
You got a lot of training in for this, it sounds like.
Most of what I do is walking in snow, and racing a dog has never been on the list.
So what's your mindset coming into this? I mean, this is a pretty fast dog.
For about the last
Blitz
2
is, it's in the name. You think you've got a shot against him today?
I mean, as long as he doesn't attack me like that raccoon did during my documentary, I think I should be okay. But I've got the proper footwear.
Oh, look at those.
And I'm stretched, and I'm 6'4", so I'm in ready to go mode.
Are you going to try to tackle him at all, take him out of the race? How are you going to get it done?
Well, I thought of maybe sprinkling syrup in front of him to distract him, but since he's coming out of retirement, I think I'll play fair today.
Okay.
This isn't exactly North Pole weather. I feel like you got to be burning up in this thing.
I mean, I stay nice and warm on top, cool on the bottom. It's like a mullet, but an outfit.
So you also got to do the weather this morning on our morning show. What was that like? Kind of a change of pace, giving you a look at a career.
Well, Santa doesn't let me do a lot of stuff, especially at the North Pole. I tried to make Etch-a-Sketches and completely failed at that. So I thought I'd try my hand at the weather, and it worked great, except for my costume just kind of disappears. The suit just disappears, and that was weird.
I was going to say, is that a new color for you maybe next year? Maybe something we're working on?
Oh, I don't know that I can change it up. Green looks pretty good on me. It brings out my eyes.
I agree. There you go.
Okay, buddy, as we're getting into the holiday season, what's one message you want to get out there to the community here?
The number one message is the best way to spread Christmas cheer is scoring touchdowns, both far and near. Go Broncos!
Go Broncos. Buddy the Elf. Hey, thanks for coming on the show. I love it. Merry Christmas. Oh, he's a hugger. See you guys. All right. Buddy the Elf.
In the flesh.
In the flesh.
Wow.
He was every bit as tall as I expected him to be.
It's intimidating. Blitz has got his hands full, or paws full tonight.
Paws full. Last ever opportunity for Blitz to win the T-race here. I kind of like Buddy's chances.
No, we're going with Blitz.
Blitz all day?
One final ride out into the sunset. It is Blitz, and then he's going to be taken over by Bourbon. What a name for a dog.
Bourbon. Blitz to Bourbon. It's going to be awesome. One last run for Blitz here. Hey, we're going to send things over to the third man in our crew here, Mr. Tom Scott, loaded up with today's trivia.
Bronco Roundup Bronco Trivia is sponsored by Nampa Floors and Interiors.
Still hard to believe I'm standing here today, but the computers told me to come in for a Scott Slant. The story starts tonight with Maddox Madsen back after missing 3 games and most of a fourth. He's playing a team he's 3-0 against. Here's Mad Dog's report card against UNLV. The key in the regular season game last year was his legs. He peeled off a 49-yard run and later scored a crucial touchdown on a 7-yard scramble. Madsen also ran for the clinching TD against the Rebels in the Mountain West Championship game last year. After one of the best throws of his career, the TD pass to Latrell Caples had set the tone and the table for Ashton Genty. In October, Madsen was as efficient as could be, throwing for 253 yards and 4 touchdowns. Look for a very inspired Madsen tonight. After all, he was the preseason Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, and he's facing the guy who actually won the award. Little Broncos Rebels history as we go to our Scott Slant trivia question. The 5th best passing performance in Boise State history came on a sunny Halloween day against UNLV at Sam Boyd Stadium in 2015. The guy threw for 469 yards. So who was it? Stay right here for the answer. It is coming up when we return on Bronco Roundup Game Day. Welcome back to the Mountain West Championship edition of Bronco Roundup Game Day, and I have your Scottsland trivia answer here. It was true freshman Brett Rippon who threw for 469 yards in his 7th game as a Bronco. It came in Boise State's 55-27 win at UNLV in 2015. 2 weeks later, Rippon had what would end up as his career high 506 yards against New Mexico.
All right, Brett Rippon, who also played a hand in recruiting one of Boise State's other QB commits in Cash Herrera, so he's still active. Meanwhile, as we get you back to the field, you can see them squeegeeing the water off of the blue here. The good news is, up above, the rain seems to have stopped, at least for now.
At least for now. It is absolutely clear. This is perfect weather if you like a little bit of cold. It is not raining anymore, not going to be super slick on the football field. Let's just hope that it stays like this for the entirety of this football game.
Well, and we are just speculating at this point. We're hoping it can stay this way, but we've got a weather expert on hand who's willing to kind of show us what this is going to look like for the next couple of hours. Audrielle, what are you seeing on your end?
Yeah, Jordan and Austin, I agree. I think it's great weather right now at Albertson Stadium for Idahoans who love that cooler weather. Currently 42 degrees in Boise. Doesn't feel like it though. Because of slight winds, even though they are very light right now, we still have a little bit of that wind chill effect, so it feels as if it's in the 30s right now in Boise. So a crisp evening ahead for those fans at the BSU game. Unfortunately, pockets of dense fog, low-sitting clouds, and all of that moisture sitting in our atmosphere, giving us some poor visibility as well. Now, most of that poor visibility is in between Mountain Home and the Magic Valley. So Boise not too impacted for the time being. And as Jordan and Austin mentioned, the rain has paused for the time down in downtown Boise. It could pick up again. We could still continue to see some showers, which could then give us some poor visibility as we head on later into this evening. We do have some winds that are picking up a little bit tonight, so it's a very light breeze, but that breeze will help us clear out some of that fog and bringing our visibility back to full capacity. So good news there if you are at the game, if you plan on heading out after the game, hopefully after a win. But if we look at this futurecast here, you can see the showers are pushing out of the upper Treasure Valley, mostly in Mountain Home, and will continue to move through Magic Valley. Again, we may still see some showers tonight in Boise. People at the game, the rain is not 100% done yet. You're not completely in the clear, but for the most part, the main push of precipitation is probably done for the time being. We're looking at clouds later this evening, again, hopefully after a win for BSU.
All right, we're hoping it stays just like this, but hey, these guys aren't afraid of a little bit of rain. Not like our cameras would be anyway.
Yeah, it's this is good for us, honestly. We don't have to use the trash bags.
Yeah, we won't be hunkered down over it with the umbrella.
Might stay a little warmer. We'll be able to actually perform the duties that we are assigned. Yeah. So hopefully this sticks up.
Well, we got to get you back on that game day guide too. Text BSU to that number 321-5614, and you can get access to all of this information and so much more, including player profiles, the stories of the week, including the recruitment numbers. Boise State had the highest ranked recruiting class they've ever had. That's in the game day guide.
Yeah, top 48 recruiting class, the best this program has ever seen. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but where to watch, how to watch, anything you need to know is in that championship game day guide. Text that number, get it on your phone.
All right, well, the stands are starting to fill up, the excitement in the air, the Mountain West Championship. It's on its way. We'll be right back after just a few minutes. Welcome back to soggy Albertson Stadium. We are just under an hour away from Boise State and UNLV here for the Mountain West Championship. Joining us now, Jeremiah Dickey, Athletic Director for Boise State. So all of the grit, all of the hard work, all of the preparation, it's led to this moment here at home.
You find out what you're made of through adversity, and you've heard Spencer say it before. You know, pain has purpose. And I'm just so proud, guys, of our team. You know, they had every opportunity to quit, and that's not who we are. That's not what a Bronco is. And this season, you know, maybe it isn't like last season, but these are the seasons that I'll forever remember. We kept fighting and kept swinging and found our way into this game at home in Albertson Stadium, and it's just really exciting to kick this ball off.
a big part of that metric, the computer chaos that not a lot of people really understand, is strength of schedule, right? Yeah. So those non-conference games that were scheduled in the beginning of the year, especially the Notre Dame game, that was heavy. So I know you talked about how you're proud of the team, but what about your team that's back behind the scenes, the one that kind of decides these games and how important they are to get those on the schedule to help for things like this? How proud are you of your team?
Extremely proud. As a football sport program administrator, I spend a lot of time on scheduling, and that ties into our scheduling philosophy. And I've talked about it, and I know Bronco Nation doesn't always like it, but this is why we do what we do, and why we have a specific formula for success. And it's something that Spencer and I talk about. As I'm scheduling 3 to 5 years out, and you're trying to predict who teams are going to be, and make sure there's alignment on both sides. But this is one of those seasons that it does make a difference. I think last year it made a difference in regards to that Oregon game, and so that's something we're going to continue to do. I have a job in all this. Once the game starts, my job is somewhat done, but it takes a team, and that team behind the team. And I know Spencer would say the same thing. It matters. Everything counts. Everything matters, and I'm really grateful that it worked out, and we're in the champ game, and that's important because you come to Boise State to compete for championships.
Yeah. Well, it's the final opportunity to win a Mountain West championship on the farewell tour here. Do you think this is the squad that gets it done? The first team to three-peat a Mountain West championship.
Yeah, I'm a believer, man. I go into every game believing where you're going to win, and I do believe that, and that's taking nothing away from UNLV. They're a great team. But their AD would say the same thing. I believe in our guys. I know we have some guys back from injury, playing in front of a home crowd in this beautiful Idaho weather. I'm pumped, and I know our guys are going to be ready, and it's going to be a great game.
Do we get a score prediction from you finally? Come on.
1-0.
Come on.
That's 1-0 mentality.
That's a score.
Yes. Well, winning's hard, and I just want to win, and so I'm excited.
Well,
we appreciate you.
Thanks
all
for letting us
season
bother you all season long. We'll see you at the bowl game.
Thank you guys for your support.
Thank you so much.
Go Broncos.
Appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Bronco Nation. Love you.
Jeremiah Dickey joining us here. As always, just been fantastic to work with. That brings us now to the keys of the game, Austin.
Keys to the game.
Bronco Roundup Keys to the Game is sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Well, this first key to the game, the Broncos are going to have to put a lid on the conference's top offensive player of the year, Anthony Calandria. We've seen what this guy can do when he gets open space, and he can hurt you in a really big way.
Key number 2, pretty simple, right? Got to rush the football.
Run the ball.
We've talked about it. The weather's going to be a factor. It plays to the Boise State offense and the Boise State rushing attack. They've got to be able to run the football, especially with Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines. They've got to be able to run the football.
Yeah, Sire Gaines, Dylan Riley, Malik Sherrod, the three-headed monster. Hopefully they can cut loose. Dylan Riley had that monster game against UNLV the first time. Maybe he's got another one in the tank.
Over 1,000 yards on the season, over 100 yards last week against Utah State. That is something they are going to need if they want to win a third straight Mountain West championship game.
Key number 3, Broncos, they're going to have to limit some of those self-inflicted setbacks against UNLV. They've been fairly disciplined the last couple of weeks, but they cannot afford to give up 3 yards in penalties. The Broncos, they're averaging a little more than 65 penalty yards per game. That's about 7.3 penalties per game.
Penalties and explosives, those are two things in the battles that you want to win. Spencer talks about it all the time, the self-inflicted negatives. You simply just can't have them if you're going to win football games. I mean, the Broncos, they average about 7.3 penalties per game. That's way too many penalties, and especially the ones that hurt you, like last week in the targeting and some of the personal fouls against the quarterback. You simply can't have that. Self-inflicted negatives, you can control those, so control those tonight.
And the final key, they're going to have to limit those explosive plays. It's a championship game. Both teams are going to come out with big swings, it feels like, but we've seen what Anthony Calandria can do when he has just a little bit more time in the pocket. He makes great decisions and can put the ball on the money or hurt you with his legs.
The more you limit explosives, the more that this home crowd, Bronco Nation, will be so loud and make things so difficult for this UNLV offense. You've got to limit the explosive plays, something they had a tough time doing last week against Utah State. But if they can do that tonight, they'll really bottle up Calandria, which will go 1-4, keys of the game.
All right, stay with us here. We'll be back in just a few short minutes to wrap the show up.
Hey Bronco fans, time to show your true colors. Snap a photo showing your team's spirit for a chance to win a big screen smart TV. To enter, just text FAN to 208-321-5614. Game Day Traditions, sponsored by Mountain America Credit Union.
Well, snap in those photos. This is one of the last opportunities before the bowl game to be able to send those game day photos and win a free TV.
It is the season of giving. We're trying to give you a free TV.
We're the good guys.
What else do you need?
Some people have sent some great photos in so far this year. We want to thank you for doing that. Still some opportunities. Show us how you celebrate. Show us how you fan. Just text that number. Well, Dylan Riley, the Boise State Broncos, gearing up for a heavyweight showdown against UNLV. This one is going to be an epic finale between these two teams. UNLV is not following Boise State to the Pac-12, at least at this point, so this could be the final matchup between these two schools for the foreseeable future.
For a very long time, and you know the Boise State Broncos want to go out with a third straight Mountain West championship. You're looking live at Maddox Madsen. All blue on the blue, which is what the people want. You even got the blue face mask for the Boise State Broncos. That helmet, I'll tell you what, we haven't seen that one all season long. It's pretty sweet.
Looking pretty sweet, and we are keeping an eye on that right leg. He told us he is good to go. He has that insert in his right cleat to help stabilize his shoe a little bit, stabilize his foot rather, as he's battling back from that ankle injury he sustained earlier in the year. Right now he's looking good, throwing the rock, getting loose ahead of the game.
I think it's kind of insane that people on Twitter responded to a certain video that somebody posted and said that he wasn't fully healthy and he was just jogging. We're watching him live right now. He is moving great. He's got great mobility. It looks like he's throwing the football well, putting a lot of pressure on that ankle. That is something to watch, though, because if he doesn't have his full plethora of tools, aka his legs, to get out of the pocket, that could be something that hinders this offense a bit, might shrink the playbook a bit if you're offensive coordinator Nate Potter.
Well, and I think it is easy for fans to read into things, too. I think we got to remember, week 12 of the college football season, nobody's at 100%, especially the guy who just has to put a carbon fiber plate in his shoe. That's not very comfortable for most people, let alone if you just rolled your ankle or got a high sprain. Either way, Maddox is the guy. I think the silver lining in all of this is Boise State's QB room has proven to be very capable. So if they wanted to mix things up, Max Cutforth, he's ready to go.
He's not only ready to go, but they could put him in for maybe a different look, maybe some sort of a trick play. Who knows? They could bring both quarterbacks out on the field at the same time. You never know what you can do, kind of keep UNLV on their heels. They've got two great quarterbacks inside of this quarterback room. Ones that are going to need to perform well against this defense that has kind of been stepping up big time in the last 6 games.
Well, speaking of great quarterbacks, we had been promising for the last hour that we were going to get Robert Griffin III on the show. It looks like he got tied up, so apologies on that. It was something we were excited about, but he's a busy guy, and he's with the Fox production crew, so unfortunately, we won't get to bother him here on the show today, but man, that would have been cool.
We're looking around like, is he coming?
Yeah,
is he coming?
Is he going to show up somewhere? Yeah, but in the meantime, he's got a job to do, and so do these Boise State Broncos. I think they take care of business at home in my score prediction. 31-21 Boise State. They handle business, and they become the first team to win 3 Mountain West championships in a row.
We heard the score. How does the game go? What's your game script?
I feel like they're going to give Dylan Riley the rock early on. And I think they're going to trust Maddox with the full playbook. I feel like it shouldn't be a surprise if we see a couple of deep shots, especially if this weather continues to let up like it has so far.
I kind of agree. I think Maddox is going to open it up early and often to kind of catch UNLV on their heels a bit. I do think Boise State does get the job done and leaves the Mountain West as third straight three-peat Mountain West championships, their 6th Mountain West title, of course the most in the conference. I will say it's a little bit tighter than 31-21. I thought it was going to be more like a 28-24 ball game just because of the weather. But if the weather stays like this, we're going to have ourselves a great football game.
And UNLV, I think the interesting fact that gets lost in this conversation, yes, they've played 3 consecutive Mountain West championships 5 times in the last 25 months. UNLV hasn't beaten Boise State since the 70s, when football was a very different game. I mean, we're talking almost half a century since UNLV last beat Boise State.
Well, they've been a program that's been on the climb and on the rise for the last 5, 10 plus years. They've got a phenomenal head coach in Dan Mullins, who knows if he'll even be here after this year, considering the season that they've had. But UNLV has a big opportunity to kind of set a different tone for the Mountain West moving forward. They want to be the team that is going to represent the Mountain West once Boise State leaves. You win on the blue for the Mountain West Championship. You prevent Boise State from getting a third straight title. Hey, I'll tell you what, that's basically handing over the reins to the Running Rebels.
Absolutely. 10-win season, nothing to snuff about. This is going to be a hard-fought game on the blue here tonight. You want to see UNLV follow into the Pac-12? I kind of feel like this has turned into a cool rivalry. Two competitive programs. Feels like that'd be it makes sense.
It would make sense, and it would make sense also because it's the Pac-9 right now. Right. There's only 9
we're
teams
short a few
in the conference. How can you be the Pac-12 conference if you only got 9 teams?
Right.
Somebody explain the math at home. Math ain't mathin'.
Math ain't mathin'. It's not mathin' right now, just 2 teams right there.
Yes, UNLV. Hey, New Mexico too. Jason Egg just signed a 5-year deal. Imagine New Mexico playing Boise State in the Pac-12. It would be a phenomenal matchup for the future, especially for the rivalry's sake of it. I don't think Boise State fans want to see Texas State every single year. Maybe a team they're more familiar with, but who am I to say? I'm just some guy on the television.
Just some guy, some talking head. Yeah, that's us. And yeah, I think what's interesting too is, you look at New Mexico, you look at San Diego State, and you look at the teams that have been able to build very effective programs at the FBS level. The Mountain West, I think it's so easy to just overlook these programs. Year in and year out, we've got 10-win teams.
10-win teams, and San Diego State, mind you, has always been a basketball school.
Right.
They're always in the NCAA tournament, seemingly always winning the conference championship, and they've bursted onto the scene as one of a better football programs that continues to grow as well. Not one of the top programs because they lost to all of the top teams this year, except for BSU when they were hurt. We'll throw that out there.
Right.
But they are becoming one of the top teams.
Well, we got 2 of the top Mountain West programs going head-to-head here, just under about 35 minutes here. It's going to be a great matchup. Boise State chasing their 3rd straight Mountain West championship. We'll be live post-game with what happens. We'll see you then.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.